Hi guys, welcome back to UKFlyFisher. Today I have the fly chosen by yourselves, and that is the Black and Silver Zonker. Now we run a little poll and let you choose which fly I'd tie next, and I also said there'd be a winner. So today's winner is Kyle Courtney, and they'll be receiving a set of 3 of these. So make sure you're on my Instagram and on my Facebook and you've liked the page, so that next time I run a competition like this you can enter. They're all free to enter and you can win flies like this to add to your armoury. This is a fly I use mainly on reservoirs. I use it on Clywedog, Chew, the Ask Reservoir, and it brings me a lot of success. I usually fish this on an intermediate line with a 10-foot leader. It's a really simple fly. It's one you're going to want to add to your armoury. And without any further delay, let's have a look at how we tie the Black and Silver Zonker. So the hook we're going to be using is once again the Short Shank Special Size 10 from Elite Flies. And we're going to be using a 140 UTC in black. And I'm going to start further back than the eye of the hook and put an entire layer of thread down the hook shank before snipping away the waste piece. Now for the wing and the tail of the fly, we're going to be using Blob Buzzer's Black Zonker. And we're going to come in and we're just going to make a little gap where we're going to tie down our fly, our zonker strip, wet our fingers to keep it apart, before coming up and down 3 times just to tie it in. Then we pull both the material, the tail and the body up. We're taking a turn in front, turn behind and under the tail before 2 more turns in front. And that's going to keep it locked in tight. It's not going to move anywhere, nice and secure. Now for the body of the fly, the main attractant, the bit that gives you the movement and the flash you're going to want on most of your fry imitations, we're going to be using Blob and Buzzer's Silver Holographic Humungous. This is the 15mm. Now this material's got both silver and UV fibres to it, so it's a great fly imitation and a great material to have as a body when you're tying for them fry feeding fish. We're just going to take that the entire length of the body. Now as we turn this, we're going to pull our fibres backwards to make sure we're not getting anything trapped down, because you want as much movement on this fly as you can possibly get. It's basically one of them flies that aggravates the fish, but also if they're heavily switched onto the fry, then this is the sort of fly you're going to want to use. So I'm just going to take this the entire length of the body. As I said, it's actually a very simple fly to tie, and the results you get are surprisingly good. So it's one to definitely tie up for your fly boxes. And when we get to this point here, I'm just going to come across the material and then take 2 turns in front before once again coming across that material, pulling everything backwards and taking 2 turns in front. And then I'm going to come in with a Stanley knife just to make it nice and neat and snip away that waste piece. Now at this point here, I like to get my dubbing brush and just pull everything out, just making sure I haven't trapped anything accidentally underneath. Shouldn't have, but just in case, I just get that dubbing brush and mess up everywhere just to pull them out. And then before I pull the zonker strip over, I'm going to rub down both sides, pulling backwards as I rub down, and then I can pull that zonker strip forwards, knowing that I'm going to get as many fibres loose as possible and as much movement. Now with the zonker strip, we don't want such a bulky head, so we're going to pull some of this material forwards like so, before we come across that zonker strip with 1 loose turn before tightening up with 2 tight turns. Pull that material backwards, take a turn in front, and then you can see there, that's not going anywhere. It's got a really nice taper to the body. And then we're just going to come in and snip away that waste piece at the front. Now after cutting away, I like to take 1 tight turn just to make sure. Now, the tail length, we want it to be sort of 1.5 times the hook length. So we're just going to come away and cut away that skin. Don't cut away the fibres, just cut away the skin so the taper stays in the fly. Like so. How's it look on your side? Yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what we want. You can see there, it really looks like it's got the silhouette of a fry. And that's really what we want from this fly. Now, a quick tip, I'm just going to move our tiny silk out the way, pull these backwards, and then come in with the lighter just to get rid of these straggly bits, and also the zonker strip will lay flatter. as you can see there. Now the next step is not necessary, but I do it because I really do think it gives my flies that little bit extra in the water, and that is to add cheeks to it. And in my case, I'm going to be using jungle cock. Now I know that these are increasing in price every day, and some of them are going for ridiculous money. So the alternative you can use is either goose biots, or you don't need a cheek. You can just tie off here or give it a hot head. So maybe in this case we'd use a fluorescent green or a fluorescent fire orange as a hot head. Now we're going to use jungle cock, so I'm going to choose 2 feathers that are a similar size. So as you can see there, I've chosen 2 that are very similar. They come next to each other on the cape. And then I'm just going to remove all the waste pieces. The only bit you'll need really when tying flies is the white and the yellow. And in this case, we only need the yellow. So we're going to make it look like this. And I'm going to tie on my side first. And you sort of want it going with the wing in its direction. So I'm going to take 2 tight turns there, see how that's sitting. Yeah, that looks great on my side. So now I just need to match it up on your side. There. And take 2 tight turns. 1, 2. How's that sitting your side? Yeah, that's perfect. It's going up with the wing. When this thing gets wet, then all them silver fibers are going to move and flow. The eyes are towards the front of the taper, and it's going to taper towards the back of the fly, as you can see there, and that's going to give you plenty of movement, but also the silhouette that the fish are used to seeing when hunting down these fry pans. It's also a big and nasty lure, so any fish in there that are recently stocked or inquisitive or just purely aggressive, they're going to come and have a look at this, and more often than not they're going to have a go at it. So we're just going to now push these 2 stalks back, like so, and take 2 turns in front, like so. And then we're just going to snip away the waste piece before tidying up this head area. So that's 1 of them gone. And then on this side, that's 2 of them gone. Now all we need to do now is tidy up this head area, give it a nice little black head. So how's that looking? Yep, that's looking superb. Just need to come in now and whip finish. So I'm going to give it 3 whip finishes. 1, 2, 3. A lot of people go overboard with whip finishing. You're varnishing this fly, you're whip finishing it, you're using 140 UTC thread. It's not going anywhere. A lot of flies look cheaper and look poorly tied simply because people are whip finishing way too much. And it's this image in their head where they've used a cheap fly and the head's come loose, that all flies will do that unless you give it sort of 6 turns twice, so 12 turns in total, and it just gets a bit obsessive. You're using 2 coats of varnish on this fly. It's not going to go anywhere. Keep the head nice and small. I'm just going to cover the entire head with varnish here. The varnish I use and works best for me is the Vineyards Clear Varnish. So as you can see there, that's your black and silver zonker. Really effective pattern, as I've mentioned, on the locks and the reservoirs. Usually fished on an intermediate line. If the fish go lower, we'll move down to the die 3s and the die 5s. Or you can fish this on still waters, especially in the cooler months, on a sink tip. So if you've enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification icon so you never miss an episode. All that's left to do is say thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.